Well, hello YouTube. Welcome back to the Bison Workshop. I'm Bob. And today I'm going to show you a very inexpensive way of making a nice bench cover and not cost you anything but a little bit of your time and elbow grease. And ain't much of that. So we got the lathe bench ready. And I'll just show you the lathe bench a little bit here. I got my light here in case I need to bring that down there and see what I'm doing when I'm doing really tedious stuff. And then I can go over here if I want to read something, or over here if I want to light everything up. So I got my options with this light. And I actually need to move the lathe out a little bit, but it's such a little bit that it's going to try to hit the same holes that I already put in there to hold down the lathe now. For the simple reason, this belt is really close to the wall to the point where I had to, in a pinch, I had to take this pulley off and take the grinder in there and grind all that out so that I can so this here wouldn't hit the wall, because it was starting to scrape the wall a little bit and I didn't want to tear up my belt. So what I've got to do to this bench is I got to cut that out nice and neat and make an insert to go in it that makes it deeper. So we've got to, it's actually in a bad location because it's right on the 2x4, and the 2x4 comes right here. So that's going to be a task. So I don't know how I'm going to address that, but for now it's not hitting the wall. But right now all we're doing is the coating for the top. I wanted to give you a heads up here on what I was going to do. On the back side here, I had thought about taking the lathe loose from the bench and lifting it off there, but I just ain't got that. I ain't got that much power, and I don't feel like messing with it. Yeah, I could probably roll this bench here over and just kind of walk it over on there, and then the other side walk over to here, and then it'd be out of my way. But I'm not going to do all that. So I'm just going to cut a small piece that will cover that back there, clear up as deep as we can get it, and just kind of cut it the shape of the pan and be underneath of it. Yeah, you want to make sure it's kind of close so that you don't get shavings stuck down in there. But I'm having problems with the shavings going down in the holes and on top of everything that's on the shelf underneath here and in my drawer. So or behind my drawer. And I don't want that. So as the boards get here longer and stay in this warmth, it's shrinking, because these were butt up to each other. So we're just going to cut us a piece that fits this, and we're going to make the seam back there behind the motor, because this is going to be a funky shape with a little piece right there going to about probably that wall right there. And then because it's a different width over here on this side, because this wall steps out about, I don't know, ½ inch, so 3/8, something like that. And then we'll cut a notch for this. So the first thing we got to do is figure out how long we want it, and we're going to have to measure from this edge here. We have to measure from this edge all the way to the end here. That'll be our length. Then we'll measure from here to the furthest point, because we're going to have to make that little point right there, that round part. So we're going to have to measure to about right here. That's how wide we want it. Then this piece will be cut out. So whatever that is from the boards over, and whatever that is from the corner to where we need to be. Same thing with this side over here. This is going to be a funky shaped one. The pans are going to be sitting in there like that, and I'm going to have to slide it in like this. So we got to address a screw there. I don't know why it didn't go down unless it broke off. It might have broke off when I was putting it together, because this stuff is hard to put screws in. But anyway, I'm going to show you the part that makes this cheap. So bear with me. What you eating there? Precious is busy. Anyway, what we have here is a refrigerator, and this is the one that I found right up there behind the burn barrel, back in the woods and down in the runoff from the mountain. And it was laying up there, and it has bullet holes in it. I would assume that's what those are, but it doesn't make no sense that they are sprawled out this way, meaning that a bullet would have came from the other side and knocked that out. Now I see what happened. They shot right here at that angle. So the top, I might be able to get a good piece out of it for around the lathe, but depends on how long it is once I get it cut out. Because remember, you got these things in the way here, so that's not going to be in it. We're going to have to cut that straight down there. But we'll probably cut the whole corner out. So we're going to go ahead and start using the grinding disc, and what I'm using is my DeWalt grinder. Trusty old grinder, man. Bought that on eBay here a few years ago. It's been a good one. But I will warn you, these discs do not last long doing this. You might get 2 runs from this end all the way up, and then you're down to a nub. So that's why I've got 3 discs here. It's really hard on eating these discs up. It's the only thing I hate about this when you're doing stuff like this. And this ain't cheap. So anyway, we've got bullet holes in it, and it's not going to matter because I can get a piece out of it. I should be able to do both benches. The extra that I have on the one bench that I didn't get to, so we're going to try to make this refrigerator do that. This refrigerator has these holes here that I'm going to have to work with, but the other side is perfectly unmolested, so that's going to be my main one. So we're going to get started here and start grinding this, and you can watch Precious playing around me because the noise don't affect her at all. She's too brave. So we'll get to her and you guys enjoy the music. Now you see what I mean? Just one side ate that disc up, and that thing was brand new. So now I got to change disc, and we'll be back at it. I got that stuff hanging on my glasses or something. But that's actually a bad idea, cutting it from the top. I should have cut it from the front, but because I had this here big knot on it here, I would have had to have got past that, and it won't come out. So I would have normally cut it right there. That way I had a nice straight edge. That is the crookedest cut I ever made in my life. But this side over here, I'm going to have to cut that a different way. I don't know how I'm going to cut that yet. Alright, so now we've cut all the way around the edge of it. Now we're going to try to lift it off of there without bending it any more than we have to. Some of them can be a little difficult. And once you get something started, it's just glued. It's the blowed in insulation that's got it trapped. So some of them's easy to get off and some of them's not. Now I'm going to try to pull this off, get myself a little higher so I can get a better hold. Get you some gloves, stuff sharp. And now we've got our first piece. This stuff right here, you take a scraper, heck this thing might even work. It comes off really easy. If I had a real scraper, it'd come off in strips. But so that's how I get my pieces off. Now I'll go ahead and get the rest of them off, and I'll meet you in the shop. All right, guys. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take and get all this insulation off the back of it, so it's pretty easy to get off. Alright guys, we've got the lathe bench pieces cut out of the refrigerator, and I've got this overlapped about 1/4 of an inch on the edge, and then I'll just fold that over because I'm going to put a trim on the front of it. So I'm either going to make it out of wood or make it out of aluminum. I don't know. Just depends on what I have. If I do it out of wood, I can do all the benches the same. But see, I just folded these benches over because I was anticipating putting trim on it. So I've got this much yet to do. I'm putting the scrapers back in my drawer, and I got that part to do, and I'll do that later. I'm not going to do that on video. But we've got the pieces cut. And yes, there's a little gap in the back, but it needs to be pushed up. I can push it up to the edge as far as I can right there. And then I made these pieces to go in there. It's just corner stuff. Most people use it in a bathroom. I'm going to use it on my bench. And put just like that right there. And that'll help hold the back down, and we'll see how far we can go forward so we can get it underneath the edge of the chip pan so that it holds that side down too, right here. So we'll just split the difference, and then this will hide what we didn't get. Should have cut it about 1/4 inch wider, but I didn't want to fight with it getting put in there. And then I put this corner piece here. This here used to be that piece. If Evil Twin X remembers, I was going to build a CNC router machine, and this was one of the stands. I've got 2 of those, and since I didn't do that, I just said, well, you know what, I've been carrying that around for like 3 years, and I figured one day I'd find something to do with it, and I sure did. It reinforces the wall because the wall was a little rickety. Shook back and forth this way, So I put one on that one, and I put one on this one right here. So that bench is done. That bench is almost done. And this bench, all I got to do is screw down this piece, because I got a piece that goes back here too. It goes right here like that. So we'll screw this down. I'd rather screw it down because the screws are actually sinking in it pretty decent, so it doesn't look really terrible. So that way I can put it back the way it is if I ever have to move the bench. God, I hope I never have to move benches. I'm tired of moving. I'm hoping I die in this house. But we'll screw that down, and that one back there we'll do something to it, and then we'll be back. I'll show you the finished product. Alright guys, we got this part done. It's down as good as it's going to get until I fold this edge over and put the trim on it. I just want to wait until I got the trim before I know what I'm going to do. So we got the corner pieces on it. Couldn't get a screw in that one, so I have to wait until one day I have to pull this off, and when I got this off, then I should be able to get down in there and put one in it. So we just kind of went around the edge here and cut that circle out, and got the back piece here in. And then I made a new mount because I didn't have a mount. I just had a hole drilled in it, and this peg went down in the thing. So this here just mounts on there with an aluminum shim in there that I milled on the lathe. As you can see, I got my lathe dirty again, and now I ain't got to worry about them chips falling down inside. Now eventually I'm going to put some kind of a shield up along here to try to keep some of that stuff from going down in here. So anyway, there you have it. Some progress on the Bison lathe bench. We're going to do a bunch of fixing on it and decorating. Still got to put the drawer up in it. So now I got to paint it black because this was painted the same color as my old lathe, my Atlas, and now I got to take it apart and paint it black and put it underneath here. I just got to buy some slides for it. I ain't got no slides, and it's got to be some pretty good slides, drawer slides, to mount that heavy bastard. It used to be the old chip pan that I shortened for the Atlas lathe. So I don't even know if you guys can see it. But anyway, if you got that old pesky refrigerator laying out in your yard and you don't know what to do with it, well, there you go. It takes about a half hour to grind them pieces. And I've got a piece to do the rest of that other bench, and I'll do that later. And then I got that big long piece that I can use for something else if I ever need to. So, but that's how you cover your bench and refrigerator sides. Works out pretty good. So these will be nice benches, and the wall is actually the back legs for the bench. So what those are mounted to goes all the way to the floor. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 6 of them. This one I cut a little shorter, and it's right there somewhere. But anyway, that's the bench for the old Logan. Old pretty Logan, that's what it is. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed watching that. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. If you want to help the channel out, you can do so with PayPal at bisonworkshop@gmail.com. You guys have a good Christmas and a Happy New Year if I don't get back before New Year. So, you guys have a very merry. Later.